This is just my problem with most wrestlers in the UFC, is that they get this control, they get the control time, but nothing's happening. We're just seeing you hold this guy, and yeah, you're in a control-of position. You got the dominant position. This guy's trying to get out of it, but try and go for the sub. Try and get some ground and pounding. But Almeida was just getting the top position, and he was on full mount, everything, just control position. He was dominating Derrick Lewis on the ground. But at one point, Derrick Lewis was like, okay, fine, take me to the ground, but what are you gonna do? And Almeida wasn't doing anything. I remember there were just times they were just looking at each other, and Almeida was just holding him down, and it's just like, is this it? And it's frustrating because I'm a fan. I want to see some action, and I just want to see, high level fighting. That's it. Hey guys, welcome to the False 9 podcast here with episode 176. This is your host Alvaro. Welcome to another show. We're going to chit chat about UFC fight night. We're going to talk about, what's next for some of those fighters. I want to talk about some few announcement fights that kind of happened a little bit over the weekend, or rumored to happen, and that's really it. It's going to be a nice and short and sweet episode because we do have a mega fight week coming up, and we got to make a banger of an episode for that one. So make sure you tune in to this one and then that one on Friday. So let's get started with the show. Today on Twitter, I've been seeing a lot of fight announcements between Charles and Islam and Ilya and Volkanovski. So let's talk about, I guess, like those fights coming up. And the reason why I say maybe confirmed or not. So it looks like the Charles and Islam fight was confirmed. And then Islam's manager said something about like fake news and how it's going to happen in February. So I'm not really sure. Haven't heard anything on like the Charles side or Charles team side at all. But and honestly, it's one of those things, like it really don't matter. It doesn't matter who like when they fight or I mean, because we know the fight's going to happen, and I don't know if people think like, Islam and Charles is not going to happen, but it's pretty clear that fight's going to happen, and it doesn't really matter. I think as a fan, if it happens in January or February, I just want to see it happen, and Islam wants that fight to happen before March because of Ramadan. So we're going to get it regardless. I'm sure they're trying to figure out the details and things like that. So that fight's going to happen no matter what, and it's going to be a banger. And a lot of people, we all feel mixed emotions about it, but I think it is going to be a banger, and I really hope to see a classic. But the other one is Volkanovski and Ilya Topuria. So, I had a lot of emotions about Volkanovski, coming back and fighting so fast, especially after getting knocked out like that. And, I've been thinking about it, been seeing, his social media in general. And, once time goes by and, for me, like, I get over the fight itself, is like, oh, I forgot about the fight already happened, after a few days and a feew weeks. And you're kind of like, if this is how I feel, I know Volkanovski got knocked out and he's recovering. And thinking about how, like, how Volk feels, he's probably in the point where, he knows what's next for him. Like, okay, I got to recover, but, I want to get ready to fight again. So I'm like, okay, like it makes sense. Like if Volkanovski's that hungry and he wants to keep fighting that many times a year or how many times he wants to fight, I get it, because like I said, I forgot about the fight already. And it's been 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, okay, I get it. And I was worried about Volk, but he seems to be fine. He made a YouTube video. He just said he got vulnerable, and I'm like, all right, man, if you're ready, you're ready. So that fight looks like it's happening in February for sure. And like I don't know how good Ilya is. Obviously he's a beast, but Volkanovski and Holloway have cleared that division. Like cleared a division that it's really hard to tell sometimes who's a really good contender and who's not. So I would have loved to see Yair and Ilya fight, or even Max and Ilya fight. But Yair and Ilya, to me, would have been a banger, like, to be honest with you. And I wish we would have got that fight first, but, then what do you do with Max? What do you do with Volk? I get it. So that's pretty much it for the announcements. Now, we had UFC fight night last night, or Saturday night, I mean. And I was watching, I watched actually, I think all the fights on the main card. So I was pretty happy to see that, and I thought it was pretty cool that they did it in Sao Paulo, of course. And I was like, man, this is lit. Like, you know, you got your Brazilians are in there, and they're enjoying it. I think it was pretty neat, you know, that the UFC went to Brazil. But anyways, the first fight, I forgot which one that I really saw that stood out to me. So I'm talking about, I want to say it's Caio. Although, yeah, I want to say it's Caio. He fought Magomedov. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he lost. The Magomedov lost to Sean Strickland, gassed out, and, you know, Sean just beat him up and then finished him. So this fight, you know, he's coming out already cautious, like, okay, I can't get gassed out, you know, I can't just rush it and, you know, whatever. And then for this Brazilian, Caio, he's coming in, you know, hot. I think this was his first or second UFC fight, and he got a contract by the Contender Series, so he's kind of an upcoming fighter. And I didn't expect much, you know, when I was watching this fight, but this is why I want to talk about it. I was watching it, and I was like, man, this Caio guy, he is really, really good, you know. And he was very, like, not showing much at first, you know, very patient. And Nurmagomedov, clearly he doesn't want to get gassed out, and you kind of see him just kind of, you know, so they're both kind of feeling themselves out. And then the fight moves on, you know, we can talk about second and third round, and then you start to see Nurmagomedov kind of get tired again, and he's just having an issue with this cardio once again. And Caio is just kind of like all over him now, showing him different things, and, you know, the fight's now going in a really kind of one-sided direction, because it was pretty even like halfway through the second round, and then Caio comes and basically, I think, gets the edge over Nurmagomedov, and it was all because of cardio, because he had good moments in the fight, but just his cardio is what kind of caught up to him, and I was like, damn, like, that kind of sucks. So, and I was just impressed with Caio, and I was like, man, like, that was pretty entertaining, and this is why I want to watch these fight nights, and, you know, the just a whole card to learn about these fighters and their styles, and, you know, just learn about the upcoming guys, and not just, you know, the names that everybody knows, right, as casuals. So I believe he called out Dracus du Plessis at the end, which was pretty wild. I was like, man, hold up. Like, don't rush anything. There's no need for that. So, yeah, he called out Dracus, and I was like, nah, bro, you need to chill. So I was looking at the rankings, and I do think, you know, that Caio, I know I'm pronouncing his name all fucked up. Let me just say, I was looking at the rankings, you know, on the UFC website, and I was like, man, who can this guy fight? Because he called out Dracus, which I was like, nah, bro, you need to chill. And there's a lot of names that Caio, you know, could fight. There is the Chris Curtis. I think it's pretty nice. Paul Gregg would even be nice. I'm not sure who Magomedov is, but I'm sure that's the one. Kelvin would be nice. Brandon Allen would be nice. You know, Hamzat, nah. But yeah, man, he did really good, and I was just really surprised by that performance. And I was like, oh, I like how that guy fought. You know, I was really really impressed. So you know, go for Caio. So then the next fight that I do want to talk about that I was really impressed as well was what's his name? I can't even say his name. It was the Gabriel Bonfim and Nicolas Dalby. So basically the co-main. So the co-main was pretty lit, and you know, these guys fought at a welterweight division. And again, just watching this fight casually, you know, just kind of doing something in the background. I mean, doing something and having the fight in the background. So not really too into the fight, but then the fight just, you know, there's a lot of good moments for both guys in the fight, and that's how I started watching it. So so, you know, watching the fight, and Gabriel in the first round looks like he's doing pretty good, looking sharp. I'm like, okay, looks like that guy's going to take it. The Dalby guy Dalby looks like he's going to get tired. So, and he looked kind of gassed. And like I said, Gabriel had, I believe, top position in the first round too. And I was like, okay, this is like an all-around pretty good fighter, you know, and Dalby's just probably going to take this L. And then the second fight comes. I don't know what happened. I don't know if Gabriel got tired or he got hit with something or he was getting pressed. But Dalby, you know, round 2 starts and he just starts getting right after him. And I'm like, oh snap, like this is getting crazy good, right? And then it just looks like Gabriel got gassed as well. Like he looked gassed or just tired, fatigued, and maybe just, he probably got hit with something. And I was like, what's going on right now? And I really thought Gabriel was gonna win the fight, and then Dalby comes and just hits him with some nasty knees like 5-6 times, and eventually Gabriel just breaks and just folds and falls, and that's it. And then Dalby just gets a massive win, very impressive. And in the welterweight division, and there's a lot of good names that that he could fight in that division, and hopefully he can do pretty good things. So that was that fight. It was pretty good, pretty entertaining. Was very surprised, like I said, from these few fights. The third, or the one I didn't talk about, that one I think I went to the store, to be honest with you, on that fight. But anyways, so that was that fight. So now I want to talk about the main event, and I want to spend some time talking about the main event, because I had like I was just upset. I was like, I seen these previous fights on the card, and I was like, okay, like this fight card has been really, really impressive to me, and I didn't expect much, so it was pretty good. I was like, damn, like this is a nice card, like this is dope. And then we get to the main one, and I'm hyped. I'm like, let's go. We're going to see Derrick Lewis fight. We're going to see Almeida, 9 versus 10. Like, it's a very close matchup. And, like, these guys are about to bang. Like, we're about to see a good-ass fight. And you guys pretty sure know where I'm going here. So, the fight's happening, and it goes for a takedown. I'm like, okay, it's the first round. There's many more rounds to go. Derrick Lewis just kind of felt him. Almeida knows he can get the takedown. It's cool. Right, no biggie on the first round. I ain't even tripping. It is what it is, right? Show your dominance in the first round. Second round comes, and it feels like the same thing's happening. It's like, okay, Almeida clearly really good with the takedowns. Good for you. And then Derrick Lewis is just like, trying to get out of there, trying to do something. But then again, just like there's no action now. I'm like, okay, like you got the takedown. What's going on? What's going on? And nothing's going on. So and this is and I started to get a little annoyed. I'm like, what's going on with the fight? So okay, round 2 is over. Round 3, we got round 3. So round 3, like, okay, there's a little bit more just standing up for half of the round. Almeida goes for a takedown again, and Derrick Lewis starts getting frustrated at this point because he's getting taken down and nothing's happening. And I'm watching the fight and nothing's happening either. And I'm like, okay, bro, you're getting takedown, fucking awesome, but like I don't know, let's work here. Let's try and look for some type of sub, or let's try and smash and go for a ground and pound, like do something. But it was just a takedown, and that was it. And I was just getting annoyed watching this fight now. So now we're in the 4th round. We've seen about 15 to 20 minutes, 15 to 18 minutes actually by this point of just ground control, right? Because I remember in the 4th round, he already had 15 minutes of ground control. And I'm like, bro, we've literally seen 3 rounds of him just on top of Derrick Lewis. Literally. Maybe a few clean shots here and there, but and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is the main event in Brazil. Like, this is what you're doing. And a lot of you guys are probably like, oh, and I'm finna explain to my frustration here after I get to the 5th round. 5th round, Derrick Lewis does everything he can to not get taken down, and to avoid a takedown and try to scrap, like really try to scrap. And then eventually Almeida gets a takedown again. And that's the fight. Literally, I just explained to you guys a 25-minute fight in 2 minutes. Dead ass. And I could have just said that Almeida got about 4 rounds, or about 3 to, was it 3? Yeah, about 4 rounds. Yeah, my bad. 4 rounds of basically control time, because it was like 21 minutes or something like that. And it's a record, but it's just like you did no damage. And I was even more annoyed because Dominic Cruz, and this is no hate on Dominic Cruz. I don't know if he was just trying to make it entertaining or what, but he's like, well, he's getting the takedowns and it's a dominant position. And it's just like, where's the dominance? And this is my problem with, wrestlers or people that look for the ground game, and this is another reason why I've never been a fan of Khabib, just Khabib, not even Islam, because Islam scraps a little bit more than Khabib did, and this is just my problem with most wrestlers in the UFC, is that they get this control, they get the control time, but nothing's happening. Like nothing's happening. We're just seeing you hold this guy, and yeah, you're in a controlling position. You got the dominant position. This guy's trying to get out of it, but you know, how do I say this in like a nicer way? You know, but we want, not that we want to see action, like, you know, just scrap, but, you know, try and go for the sub, try and get some ground and pounding, you know, and Khabib did do that. He did do the ground and pounding. I'm not going to say he didn't, because he did. And he would try and tap most people, and a lot of the occasions he did. But this Almeida was just getting the top position, and he was on full mount, everything, just control position. He was dominating Derrick Lewis on the ground. But at one point, Derrick Lewis was like, okay, fine, take me to the ground, but what are you going to do? And Almeida wasn't doing anything. I remember there were just times they were just looking at each other, and Almeida was just holding him down. And it's just like, is this it? Like, this is all we getting. And, you know, and it's frustrating because I'm a fan. I want to see some action. And I just want to see, you know, high-level fighting. That's it. I don't want to just see people wrestle and, like, and just move, you know? And like I said, that's just my problem. Like, and it's not that I want to see people wrestle, right? Or people fight, like just scrap and just throw bombs. No, I get it. You know, go for go down for the takedown, and then maybe try and look for a submission, maybe try and do ground and pound, but, you know, constantly be working. Don't just go take him to the ground and that's it. And this was another issue that I had when Islam fought Volkanovski, is that Islam would take down Volkanovski, and Islam was just like trying to hold him down. And it's just like, bro, what's happening right now? You know, and there's no, and I get that it's called control time, but it's just like, I mean, you're controlling your opponent, yes, but you're not really beating him up, you know? And that's where I start to get frustrated as a fan, and that's why I hate when, you know, I'm not a fan of wrestlers. Like, I'm just not. Because they'll just go for the takedown and that's it. And I was like, at least try and go for the sub. At least, like, try and, like, get in a position where you can hit Derrick Lewis. And clearly, you know, I'm pretty sure you don't want to scrap with Lewis. But it's just like, Almeida, let's say he has beaten already Derrick Lewis. And it's like, well, whoever he's going to fight that has the wrestling experience, like, he's not going to just let you take him down and that's it, like Derrick Lewis. Like, that shit can fly with Derrick Lewis, but, like, when you get to that division itself is like Sergey, what's his name, Spivak, like him, like, I don't see you taking him down. Like Toi Tovasa, like, if you can take him down and dominate him like that, like, it's hard for me to see that happening with Almeida, and that's a fight that I think would be really entertaining with Sergey, what's his name, Spivak, and you know, even possibly Tai Tuivasa, and who else is there? But there's a few good names, but it's just like, that's just not going to fly with those type of fighters, you know. And Derrick Lewis, not like, he's not a wrestler, and we know this. All right, so, you know, there's a tie, yeah, Sergey Spivak and Alexander Volkov. That Volkov fight with what was crazy with Lewis. But anyways, but, like, it's like Almeida's fight next is going to be a hard fight, and I wanted to see Almeida. I don't care, you know. I was like, I was rooting for Derrick Lewis, but I didn't really care who would have won. I just wanted to see a dominant performance, and I wanted to see a guy get, you know, not necessarily a finish, but just show a dominant performance and be like, man, I want to see him fight like this guy or that guy. But it's like, man, Almeida won. It's like, whoever he fights next, like, it's hard for me to see see him win if he goes and does the same thing. And again, I'm not knocking or not shitting on, like, the wrestling. It's just like, there's just no action, you know. And Dominic Cruz was saying, like, oh, where's the dominant position? And I'm like, but what damage are you causing or doing to your opponent? You know, like, and I get it. It's control. You're controlling him. But, you know, it's an MMA match. It's UFC. You know, I want to see a guy just beat up another guy. That's it. I want to see someone get beat up, whether that's on the ground, standing up, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. But I want to see you go, for a punch, and then maybe try and go for a sub, you know, or go for the takedown and then, like, you know, hit him a few times and then go for the neck. I don't know, something like that, right? But don't just go for the takedown and then, like, just hold him, and that's it. And I was like, man, that's boring. And that's what the fight was. It was a boring fight. And I was just so disappointed because, man, all these other fights were so entertaining. Then we get to the main event, and you expect a banger. And I wanted a banger, and I thought that's what we were going to get. And then Almeida just, is just hugging. And I'm just like, man, this is boring. Like, this is so boring. And nobody wants to see a champion that way. And nobody really cares to watch that type of fight. And it's like the next Almeida fight, if he's fighting someone who is really good standing up, we just know that he's going to go and try and go for the takedown. And then, we didn't even see him really try and get some subs against Derrick Lewis. And that's just like, bro, like, what's going on? But anyways, I don't see Almeida, and I'm not trying to hate on him or anything like that, but like I said, I didn't really care, and I would have loved to see him perform really good and just like kind of blow us away. But I mean, if he fights anyone else, like I said, he'd be the number 10 guy. He might rank up 1 or 2, or he might just stay where he's at. And they say, well, who does he fight next? He's like Volkov, Tai Tuivasa, Spivak. It's gonna be one of those names, and those names are like, you're getting into the point where, I mean, including Derrick Lewis, like, they're pretty big names and pretty high scale level fighters. And I don't think, you can do or have that approach and fight, someone like Tuivasa, Spivak. I'm missing one. I forgot. But you just can't take that approach. I don't think you can. And it was just a rough and ugly win. Now, for Derrick Lewis, it's frustrating. Like, it's frustrating because he had a massive W his last fight, and he looked fucking awesome, and he looked great. And I know that, like, we're not going to get that type of energy back, or that we're going to see that again. But Derrick Lewis was ready. He was ready to go. He was ready to exchange. He was ready for an all-around, just war. And like I said, that's what I thought we were going to see. And that didn't happen. And then he got frustrated. He just stopped doing shit on the ground. Literally, he just stopped. Just was like, okay, I'll let you hold me, but you're not going to choke me out. And you're not going to punch me. Like, he was just, whatever. And it was just, I felt bad for him because I was like, bro, this sucks. Like, And people might say, well, he needs to be a better wrestler. And maybe he does. Maybe that doesn't happen. But for Derrick Lewis, I mean, we just have to match him up with somebody that, the fight's going to be better. And I want you guys to hear me out because I'm proposing probably a banger right now. We need to have Tai Tuivasa versus Derrick Lewis. We just need to see it. I want it. I mean, and I want to see those guys bang because it would be crazy. And maybe it would be too early for their careers or not, but I would love to see that fight. It would be amazing. And I know I'm not crazy, and I know I'm not the only one thinking it, but we need that fight next year. Tai Tuivasa versus Derrick Lewis in 2024. I want to see it, and I need it, if I'm being honest. So, but Derrick Lewis, I mean, he just re-signed with the UFC, and I know he wants to get up there. Like, he wants to, and he's always just, he kind of climbs his way up, and he gets knocked down. He climbs his way back up, and he just gets brought back down. So, he just needs to find some momentum, and he just needs to figure it out. I hope he doesn't just kind of like give up on it, which I doubt, but I want to see him do good. I want to see him perform, and I want to see him just get some wins before, not before he retires, but before he retires, because he's not. We could tell, like, we thought we were going to see the end of Derrick Lewis, but we got a little bit more. But that's probably going to be it for us. So, yeah. But I think that's it, guys. I think that's really it. Just talk about UFC Fight Night, a few announcements. Pretty short pod. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, this week we have a fucking banger of a fight. We have UFC 295, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that one's going to be special. And we're going to get predictions and all those things. So I hope you guys have a great week. And I hope you guys are enjoying your day, wherever you are. And make sure you like, share, subscribe. And just let me know whatever you think on the comments. And I'll get to you. Peace.